Hey everybody, welcome back to Finer Tune. This is my buddy George right here. He's not really happy about being on camera, so I'm going to let him down. But that's George, and give me just a second. I'm going to let him out of this room. Yep, so I've got a camera shy cat apparently. Like I said, that's George. Today we're going to go over George's favorite song by his favorite band. He actually very specifically asked me to do this video. He thought he wanted to be in it, but apparently not. And that's okay. It's not for everyone. Um, can you guess what song we're going to go over or what his favorite band is? If you said the Stray Cats is his favorite band, you'd be exactly right. And his favorite song, can you guess what it is? Right again, the Stray Cat Strut, which is a song that both George and I can relate to. If you take it metaphorically speaking, I can relate to it. If you take it literally, George can relate to it because he literally was a stray cat. Um, I was metaphorically a stray cat. We'll get into what that means. So Brian Setzer wrote this song. It came out in the early 80s. Brian Setzer, of course, being the guitarist and singer of the Stray Cats, uh, also known for some solo work, the Brian Setzer Orchestra. Um, I wonder how much Brian Setzer actually knew about cats when he wrote this song, though, because the very first words, black and orange stray cat sitting on a fence. Well, black and orange stray cat, black and orange, that's a tortoise shell. A tortoise shell, um, well, they're almost exclusively female. So, you've got only about 1 out of 3,000 torties is going to be a male. And the vast majority of those, and I don't understand the hormone reasonings behind it, but the vast majority of male torties are going to be sterile. So, a black and orange stray cat isn't going to be told from a male point of view like this song is. So, let's go ahead and get into what this song is really about. Personally, I have a tendency to think it's about a struggling musician, which, considering it was written by Brian Setzer at a time when his band was coming up and, they were doing that rockabilly sound when rockabilly hadn't really been a thing for like 20 years at the time, actually over 20 years at the time. But it could mean something different. Uh, let's get into what it could mean. Black and orange stray cat sitting on a fence ain't got enough dough to pay the rent. Well, I think a lot of us can relate to that. It's somebody who's kind of down on their luck a little bit, or maybe not even down on their luck. They're just kind of working and they just can't seem to make ends meet, doing the best they can, just trying to survive. You flat broke, but I don't care. You still got your pride though, which would explain the line, I strut right by with my tail in the air, just like a proud cat. You know, it's that could mean literally anybody. I mean, you may be a little bit down on your luck, but you still got your pride. You may literally be a cat, you don't care. You could be a struggling musician, you got your pride. You know you're going to make it someday. Even though the vast majority don't, you know that you're going to. So that's kind of what this song could be about. Like I said, could be literally about cats, could be metaphorical. Um, Stray cat strut, I'm a ladies' cat, which you got away with the women, all right. Some guys do, even if they're down and out and don't have anything, they can still attract the ladies for some reason. I don't know. I mean, or it could be like I said, as a musician, he picks up his guitar and women are attracted to that, or a literal stray cat, he's the tough guy. He's the one drawing in the women. So drawing in those female cats. Feline Casanova. Hey man, that's that. Yep, that's once again. You just got that way. I get a shoe thrown at me from a mean old man. Yep, we can all relate to that, whether it be literally getting something thrown at you, a literal cat, some mean old guy's gonna throw a shoe at him or something, get something thrown at him, scat cat, get out of here. Or if it's about a musician, which I think it is, what historically happens when you go to see a bad act? You think of the stereotype of somebody throwing fruits and vegetables, rotten tomatoes and whatnot. They get thrown at you on the stage. Well, that could be the shoe in this case. If you're, somebody who's kind of down on your luck a little bit, maybe you're struggling to make ends meet, maybe you're a working class guy, maybe you're between jobs, you've got this guy over here who doesn't really understand, he thinks it's just a matter of just apply somewhere and they'll hire you, which that's, full well that's not always the case. Come on. So you get this guy over here saying, get a real job, you bum, or go get a job, you bum. So that could metaphorically be the shoe being thrown at you. Who knows? Like I said, I don't know what Brian Setzer meant. Could be literally about cats, but there's enough in here that I don't think it is. And the last line in that verse, get my dinner from a garbage can. Again, a literal stray cat, he'll do that. Maybe this line is just because it rhymes. Or maybe it's, you know what? If you've ever been to a grocery store, you know that the least expensive food is all the junk, right? So that's all I can afford to buy is all this garbage food here, all this junk. Rather than, the stuff that's actually good for you. Or it could mean, all I can really afford to do when I go out is hit up a fast food joint or some greasy spoon diner, stuff like that. Who knows? Like I said, I don't know just exactly what Brian meant. I tend to think it's about a struggling musician. But this right here, actually these last two verses, they actually repeat themselves, so I'm not going to go over them twice, obviously. But I don't bother chasing mice around. Why? Why do you have to do things the conventional way? Why do you have to stick to conventional wisdom? I mean, there's people out here on YouTube who are not doing the conventional thing. They don't bother chasing the mice around. They're not chasing that 9 to 5. Just like a stray cat. I'm not going to chase mice. What do you think? I'm going to go rob the fish market or whatever, if it's a literal stray cat. I slink down the alley looking for a fight. Again, in the case of a literal cat, yeah, he's literally looking for a fight. But there's the dog. The dog is upset that I'm talking about cats. That's Molly. Molly doesn't really like the cats all that much, I don't think. And the cats don't really like her. Actually, they get along just fine. But back to the cats. Slink down the alley looking for a fight. What does that mean? Well, it could just mean, hey, I'm looking for a challenge. I'm looking to do things my way. And if you don't like that, too bad. I'm howling at the moonlight on a hot summer night. Again, if it's a musician, I'm out there singing that night. I'm out there in the bars playing my music. Or if it's just a regular working class guy, you know what? I'm out here. I'm trying to make ends meet. I'm doing what I can. I'm doing the best I can. And if you don't like it, too bad. You know? So I'm singing the blues while the lady cats cry. Wild stray cat, you're a real gone guy. Well, again, literal cats. Yep. The female cats are all attracted to this guy. And I'm sure, George was that cat when he was out on the streets. Um, it wouldn't surprise me if, he's like 7 years old now. We got him when he was 3. So he's probably got some third generation great grandkids out there somewhere. Um, but again, that musician, he's cool. He's out there doing his thing. Or a guy like me, I'm out here, I'm just doing my thing. I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination. Um, and I have been the proverbial stray cat. I'll get more to that in a minute. I wish I could be as carefree and wild, but I got cat class and I got cat style. So, how uh, a lot of women are attracted to the bad boy types. Well, maybe that's what this is about. I'm a, I'm not your safe choice. It's not necessarily that I'm a bad guy, but people have this perception of me, and I'm definitely not a safe choice. Kind of like with the literal stray cat. He's not a safe choice by any means, but whatever. Um, Now, in terms of how I'm that literal stray cat, or excuse me, George was the literal stray cat, not me. I'm the metaphorical stray cat. Well, I was at one point, just like George. Because I've been down and out. I've been down actually to the point of homelessness. And now, you can't really see the whole house, but it's a pretty nice place. You know, it's not a mansion by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a pretty nice place. Um, to the point that this proverbial stray cat was able to bring in a literal stray cat, and you heard Molly. My wife adopted her years before we had ever met as a literal stray puppy. And, that's kind of cool, so that we're able to go from these strays that nobody wants to now we got a pretty nice little family here, my wife and I and the animals. And things are all right. And hopefully, if you are that stray cat, whether um, that musician out there trying to make it, or a guy like me who has been down and out, or somebody who, for whatever reason, you're not going the conventional route, you're trying to do something like what I'm doing here, which at this point I'm struggling with it, I'm just getting started with it. Yeah, who am I to tell you don't do it? You keep doing your thing, especially if it's working for you. So that's the way I understand the song. How do you understand it? Let me know. I've got a comments section. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell wherever it is. Also, be nice to animals. Don't be cruel, because what have they ever done to you, right? And I don't know if George will ever be making another appearance on this channel, because he didn't really like his debut. But maybe you'll see him again. Maybe you'll see some of the other animals. I don't know. To find out, you'll have to stay tuned.